Welcome back, everyone, to the Small Business Revolution podcast. As always, I'm your host, Kyle, here with my co-host and my dad, also my business partner, Josh. How you doing today, Dad?
I'm good. What's up, small business people? How y'all doing today?
Well, I know I'm doing good, and I'm sure you guys are doing well too. Hopefully, you've watched the last podcast, and it's really helped you guys grow and do everything that you want to do. And obviously, we're going to keep pushing, keep doing this. This has been amazing for us. We've been having a ton of fun. Today's
Yeah, for sure.
podcast, we are talking about AI. We're going to start diving into some of the tools that we talked about in a previous podcast and really start honing in on them and talking about them more on a deeper level. And today's podcast is about AI, something that I know that you're very passionate about, which is very exciting. So without further ado, I say let's just dive straight into it.
For sure. For sure. I'm not a big preparer. I don't prepare for this, right? Kyle just comes at me. Half time I don't even know what the topics are, subtopics. He just talks. I don't want to know. I don't have time to do that, right? So, but for this, I did prep a little bit. Shocking to Kyle, I'm sure. Um, so I'm like, okay, I decided to go in and see what what the world says. If you go online as an average person, say like what can AI do now, or actually I said what can AI do today, right? And it came up, and AI gave me answers, and all the results kind of matched up to this. But the AI answer on Google, which is through Gemini,
Yep.
powered by Gemini, which is like right. So it said came up with answers without get rid of all the long tail stuff. Machine learning, natural language processing, automation, auto autonomous vehicles, predictive analytics, conversational AI, and customer service operations. Right. As a small business person, I'm like, okay, all right, cool. That seems like nothing to do with me. Or
Yeah.
yeah, maybe a little bit, but that sounds like really big business stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, all right. So I said, what can AI do for me today for my small business today? Right? And these are the answers AI gave again, and everything lined up. Was customer service, it can analyze data, content creation, drafting emails, marketing, financial analysis, right? So like as a small business owner, that neither one of those answers seem very helpful to me,
Yeah.
right? Because I'm like, okay, I said I'm a small business, but that stuff seems like big business, right? So that is enough to stop most people in their tracks. They're like, okay, apparently it does have some small business uses, but it sounds like I have to look at a big business version and figure out how to make it work for my company. And I don't have the time, money, or energy for that, right? Because I'm already super busy,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So, um, AI is in a place now that I don't think most people understand that they use AI on a daily basis,
Yeah.
right? Like Siri is AI is a version of AI, right? Like Google Home, Alexa, right? All that stuff. You tell Alexa to I was just making sure it wasn't next to me. You tell Alexa to order a thing and
Yeah.
it'll go online and order the thing for you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand how people don't realize that's AI. Right? There's not a person connected to everyone's thing going, oh, they want to order some dog food that they have. Okay, let me go click the thing and it's AI,
Yeah.
right? So you say, hey Siri, search this on Google. That's AI, right? So people use it every day, and the things it can do are so much for small businesses and businesses in general.
Yeah.
Is so much more than these really basic herky jerky answers that AI is giving, and everyone else on the internet is talking about this stuff, right? So AI pulls some of its answers from the internet. So if every dingleberry in the world is talking about like, oh, it's this, it's this, it's this, right? That's where, and you go to search there, like that's what all the results are. So I look at the Google AI as like a condenser of answers, right? Within all of the
Yeah.
Google field plus additional information,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if the answers go weird, then I just reword my question until AI is giving me some type of results like I'm looking for, and then right, and then you could go from there. But that's like stuff you do at home. That's not right. but there's a lot of connect. It's all about streamlining your process, and small businesses have a huge benefit that big businesses don't, and that's that we're able to do it in a way that we can keep humanity involved all the way through, and we don't need it to go to the nth degree to make sure like every micro percentage of is coming into our pockets,
Yeah.
right? Because when we implement like these things, it's like automations. And people are like, oh, automation. No, it's automations.
Hmm.
Like all the simple mundane tasks you do every day, you can have AI do,
Yeah.
right? AI can read your email, it go through and read like a 15-page letter
Hmm.
and tell you what it and give you a synopsis and give you the most important hot points. And it can even reference where on the paper it is so you can go to that section,
Yeah.
right? Think about things like that.
Yeah.
Right? Like even that super basic level, right?
Hmm.
But you can do all these different streamlining things that are way deeper than that for your business. Can AI do content creation? Absolutely. Right? We use AI for content creation, for all different types of things, for automations with our content. We put people, they say if you post, and I'm a firm believer, if you're, every business needs to have a presence online, and it needs to be consistent, and you need to find your good mix, and you need to hammer it consistently steady every single day,
Yeah.
right? Kyle and I were literally just going over our analytics yesterday, and what we're doing is making an impact. It's making a difference, and we're seeing our numbers start to spike, right? So it's you just have to find your right mix. But this is all everything we do is AI, right? We don't have AI create, do this, and then just let it go. AI is not there yet, right? There's self-driving cars. But you can't go buy a self-driving car and just sit back and take a nap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so it's it's not there yet for that for a lot of this stuff. It's not there yet. But guess what? It could be there literally tomorrow.
Hmm.
We have
Absolutely.
no idea. It could be 6 months. I promise you it's not going to be a year. You know why? Because there's AI right now that can call people, talk to them, close the deal, right? Have up to an hour long conversation with some of like the most smart, some of the smartest people in the world for like an hour long conversation with this person just hammering them, right? Hammering the bot, and it goes through smoothly with no issues. I've
Hmm.
heard the calls, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's absolutely insane. So that technology is getting better day after day after day, right? So it's going to get to a point real quick where they're already putting like all kinds of I don't want to say laws, but they're putting a lot of things in place that make it so that people have to be notified that it's an AI bot,
Yeah.
right? Because otherwise people don't know.
Hmm.
Like on some scenarios, people literally don't know, right? So um the best advice I can give to people on AI, if you want to get involved, you need to get into AI. Otherwise, you're gonna fall very short, very quick. And when AI goes boom, boom, and it's really easy for all these tools to get integrated, it's gonna be that much faster for people who understand it. They have integrations now to just step up to the next level and take off. If you're a person that's like, oh crap, now I got to figure it out so I can implement it, so I can start to take off a little bit, you're done.
Hmm.
You're
Yeah, I
done.
mean, even look at like using, I mean, it's the same theory that you even have on social media platforms, right? Like if you're one of the first people on a new social media platform, when it goes
Yeah.
boom, your account's going to be old. Your stuff will be in people's faces because you have an older account with this platform. That's just how
Yeah.
that's how every algorithm works on everything. And so
100%.
it's very imperative to also realize that that social media idea and that thought for social media also applies to everything else as well.
Yeah,
Literally every other everything. You don't want to be behind the eight ball on anything, and that's what I mean. That's part of what we're here to do is make sure that you don't fall behind the eight ball on everything.
exactly. Like to that point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Any business that's not on TikTok is shooting himself in the foot. Any business that's not on this or that, there's on anything like YouTube and putting videos out on all the social platforms. That's getting the most attention right now, right? How like some people aren't good in front of video, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
fine. Then don't be in the video,
Yeah.
but put video content out, right? There's a lot of ways to go about it. But figure out a thing that you're going to do. You're like, I want to do AI. I'm doing this thing now. and I want to have it done with AI, right? Then look into that specific thing and figure it out and get it implemented and watch it work, right? And then you're going to go, I implemented an AI thing that saved me 2 hours a week.
Yeah.
It took me like 20 minutes to set it up, right? I was doing backflips. I'm like, that's for 2 hours a week. A
Mhm.
week. You know what I mean? Like, there's AI integrations that save us, that can save you so much time. Every business is very specific. Every business, their needs are very specific. Go on Google and say, what can AI do for my plumbing? I own a plumbing business. I have 5 people that work for me. Blah 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 blah. How can I use AI to help me with my social media? Be very specific. You could put a 5 paragraph question in there. It's AI. It will analyze it. It's not a human. It's not, its brain isn't going to break down halfway through 3 paragraphs. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? Like, the more information you give it, the better. Go on, pick an AI, whether it's ChatGPT or Gemini. Don't mess the, there's a lot of other ones out there. ChatGPT is good. Gemini is better,
Mhm.
in my personal opinion, right? But that being said, I use both on a regular,
Yeah.
right? Um, for very different reasons. I just haven't fully transitioned over. I'm busy,
Mhm.
right? So I'm getting there. But the point of all this is, say a, when you go to Gemini, say, hey Gemini, I want you to be like my personal assistant, or I want you to be my marketing manager, right? Um, I want you to assist me and answer questions about my business. Ask me 20 questions about my business so you can learn more about who I am and what I do. And it'll ask you 20 questions. And then you answer those questions. And then I literally said, ask me 20 more questions. And I answered. And I said, ask me 20 more. Every day I had to ask me 20 questions,
Yep.
right? Every day. So now I'm like, hey, so ask me 5 questions. Ask me some questions to help you understand my business so that I can ask you advice on how AI can specifically help my business in certain areas over time, right? And then it'll ask it that question, and then just go from there,
Mhm.
right? Answer the questions it asks you, then start asking it questions. And if you're like, that's not really, doesn't have anything to do with my business, all you have to do is say, my business doesn't do that. My business doesn't do that thing, and it'll say, sorry about that,
Yeah.
right? Here's a version of that without that in it, right?
Exactly.
If it uses slang terminology, right? Or what you would consider something you don't want your voice to be, like, say you don't like the word fantastic for some reason, right? And it's like, we have this fantastic, what you say, please don't say fantastic, right? And it'll remove the word, and it'll do it, and it will never say that word to you again in ad copy or whatever you're using it for.
Yeah.
In the email or anything ever, it will
Anything.
never show itself again, right? It's smarter than us. We just have to be smart enough to ask it the right questions
Mhm.
to draw the right knowledge,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
So the bet, like, ask it to ask you about your business, then play around with it, right?
Mhm.
Everyone says, I've talked about this before. If you put X amount a week and da 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 X amount of hours a week into a thing over the course of a year, you're considered an expert, right? It equates to put 50 hours into a thing, right? So just like, I'm going to put 50 hours into this thing, or I'm going to put 5 hours a week into this, or I'm going to put this many hours a week into this in my downtime, and then make sure you do it,
Yeah.
right? Whatever works best for you. You'll start learning and be able to start implementing right away. And then you can learn more and more and more and tweak, right?
Yeah.
That's how you get good at anything.
Exactly.
But your business is very hyper specific. So tell Gemini or ChatGPT or whatever one that you feel like is good for you, that you're comfortable with, right? But like, ask me about my business so I can tell you the very poignant things that are really important to us, who we are, the core of who we are, what we stand for, what I stand for, what the backbone of my company, my mission statement, my this, my that, right? All that the thing you knew, give all that to it, right? And like, I literally, at one point, I added a bunch of info on me. I had all this content from when we originally created the website, right? Like
Yeah.
like whole pages of just words, right? not in any specific order, just very jumbled. And I said, hey, I have some old copy that I use to create my current website. It has a lot of information about who I am and what I do. Can I upload that and you analyze everything, but know that each paragraph isn't going to be in conjunction with the one before? Grammar's inappropriate. I'm not worried about that. I just want you to get the information, right?
Yeah.
And it said, please, yeah, go ahead, da da da. So I copy and pasted like 5 pages of info in. And I'm like, and I hit enter and walked away, right?
Yeah.
And it worked. I
Mm-hmm.
was like, cool. So then I just was doing more and more pages until it was all in. It knows everything, every aspect of my business,
Yeah.
right? So now I have look, now I have an employee that has access to the internet and access to all this knowledge base and can give me an answer like that, right? Do I think, is it the right answer every time?
No.
No, it's not, right? But when it gives me a wrong answer, is it wildly wrong?
No.
No, but it does give us a really good starting point. If
Mm-hmm.
nothing else, it'll give us a really good starting point. We go, oh, right?
Exactly. Plus, not to mention, sometimes when it gives wrong answers, it just means that you explained it wrong, or as it's just like, I mean, talking to AI
And
is like
some,
talking to any human being on the planet. Like it's
and
this, like, if you ask something wrong, or if you say a
yeah,
wrong word in there, it could completely change the meaning of your sentence. And
yeah, absolutely. You know, my favorite, I just hit the thing, my chair just went down. You know, my favorite thing is when I ask it a question, I'm like, dude, that's wrong. And I go, wait a second. Maybe that's not. Oh, I never thought. It just gives me a
yeah,
different perspective,
hundred
and I'm like,
percent.
I never thought about it. Like that's not wrong. It's just different than I was thinking. But let me look at that too,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
right?
no,
And
that's
then
very good
merge
point.
the ideas, or do this, or do that,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. But it expands your knowledge base
Yeah,
in a way that would take you forever in a day to get
yeah.
right.
Yeah, and I think I mean you touched on it a little bit earlier. A lot of people are scared of AI, and there's a lot of just misinformation in general about everything nowadays, but especially AI. And everything you ever hear about AI is always negative. You don't really hear a lot of the positive stuff unless you're really tapped in. Like if you're just
Yeah,
a regular Joe Schmo on the street, right, and you're just doing whatever, and you're just scrolling on Instagram on your personal account, and you see something about AI, majority of the time it's negative because AI will always have that negative connotation with it because of how it's been portrayed in movies. And
1,000%.
yeah, and that's not fair. There is also a lot of amazing things that AI are doing that also are not being covered unless you're sitting there in that field. AI isn't scary. It's really not complicated if you just the complicated part comes in with you. You actually have to do it, and you actually have to trust that it's giving you the right information, which there's many studies, there's many people who talk about the fact that it actually is.
Yeah, I mean, the world is going to a new place. That's
Mm-hmm.
scary in general
Yeah.
for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Most people are terrified of change in general,
Yeah.
right? So there's two types of fear. When you talk about AI, there's the fear of change and the fear and people that could be connected in a lot of ways to like I just actually deep down I just don't want to learn it. You know what I mean? Um I know people of the older generation, the next generation beyond me, right? I'm 45.
Yeah.
Business owners are like, dude, I don't really want anything to do with it, but I know how important it is. So like I have people doing it, but I don't want to know anything about it because I'm literally getting ready to retire in the next five
Yeah.
years.
Exactly.
Probably less than that. I don't care, but I know how important it is. So he has like people doing it
Mm-hmm.
and a team of people on it, right? And his successor is involved in that heavily because he knows that's where the future is going, and he also knows that he's cutting out sometime in the next couple of years,
Yeah.
right? So he's like, no, you are my successor. You need to focus all your time. He's like, I'm running the business while he completely delves into that side and some other things that are newer and blah 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 blah
Yeah.
blah. He's diving into all that stuff, prepping the company for when he takes over,
Mm-hmm.
right? But it's real live integration now that's just expanding on a daily, kind of
Exactly.
like we're doing, just on a bigger scale. Because right,
Yeah.
they're like, yeah. So so they're expanding on a daily, just like we are, just like everyone should be, right? but when this massive wave of like the next gen AI or whatever you want to call it, that next big stage, like they're gonna be fully prepared. And no, like no other company in their industry is doing. I don't know if any other company is doing it quite the way he's doing it, anyways. But they're fully prepared to take over. Like they're he's prepping him to take over their whole industry when AI go when the big green light goes off,
Mhm.
that they can like shift, implement, and just go and
Yeah.
just take a massive market share,
Hmm.
right? So that's now this guy doesn't, and I'm not talking about like $100 million company,
Yeah.
right? Like this is like they're in the big business world, they're considered very tiny. You know what I mean? I think last year they did like $18 million or something like that, right? Like, but they're planning an AI bringing them up to like 60 to 100 in the next 3 years because of AI,
Yeah.
right? They're a small business, bro. Like they don't have that many employees, right? Like I think 15% of his employees are involved more than half of their time, most of them full time, but the right just on AI development in different areas in their company.
Yeah.
This is a real thing. It's here now,
Hmm.
right? It can help small businesses in so many ways. Guess what? As they grow with all this AI integration, right? He's like, I still need people. You still need people. It's not that he's like, but I'm going to have people managing AI
Yeah.
stuff and
Exactly.
managing the automations and managing this and managing that, right? So we could grow. I'm going to need just as many employees, probably, but like they'll all be doing higher level jobs and get, and because the company's be more profitable, they'll make more money, blah, 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 right? Kind of like along the lines of that whole Elon Musk conversation that I talked to you about, right? Like
Hmm.
people's like, they're like, it's going to get rid of all these jobs. Well, okay. He's like, yeah, okay. Jobs are gonna be eliminated and filled with AI. But that just means that other jobs are gonna be needed to be filled by people to manage and run all this stuff, right? And they'll make
Yeah, and I'd also like to add in there as well. That's a lot of people's fear that, oh, my job's gonna be taken by AI. I want you to go back in history. I literally want you to sit down and go back in history and look at every invention that has ever been made. Um, Everyone has said something about an invention that is going to take jobs. When robots started coming into factories, oh, it was going to take jobs. When any invention ever made to make life easier for people, and it's going to take jobs. Yeah, but
yeah,
look at how we keep evolving and keep moving and keep inventing things. This is a
right,
constant thing that's always going to happen. So yes, AI will take jobs, but it will also, like you said, create higher level jobs for people to go into. And we're
yeah,
constantly just evolving. And that's, I mean, this was literally a conversation that was had not even like 15 years ago, and about like robots that were programmed to do tasks. That this was a conversation literally not even that long. I remember it. I was alive for that conversation. Like these are constant conversations that have been brought up throughout history, and then nothing has changed in the long run. So I think that fear is a little bit overblown, and that it's not that big of a deal.
yeah. I mean, I understand like on a human level,
Hmm.
I understand the fear, right? Because you have a family to feed and this and that. And you've been working at your job for 10 years. And if AI comes in and you work at a factory and AI they start implementing AI, that could definitely affect your job. I understand that fear. It's but more importantly, the owners of the business need to understand those fears on a high level as well, right? Any business owner that doesn't understand that actual real life fears, like actually like take the time to understand their actual fears, is doing a massive disservice to himself and his whole company,
Hmm.
or her or hers. Sorry, I say his because I'm looking at you, but so I apologize. But yeah, of the company that they own and run, you
Yeah.
know,
So I mean, AI is very important and very imperative for you to make sure to hop on and get started with AI. It's if
yeah,
you
it's
it,
real simple. Just pick a thing and just go do it,
yeah,
right?
literally
Just
that
pick a
easy.
thing and go figure out how to do it. Go on YouTube, watch videos,
Hmm.
right? A lot of the sites, whether start with the posting thing, right? I know a lot of small businesses want to post, but they struggle,
Hmm.
right? Um, there's a lot of AI type apps and stuff out there that you will do a lot of. They'll it, AI will help create the content or will create the content. Then you just schedule when you want it to go, and then all of a sudden you do all the work for one post, except it's going to like 5 or 6 or 3 or however many social media platforms you want all at once. And you can sit down and do like I'm gonna take an hour this day and an hour this day and do all my social media posts. But like you could literally do like a whole week's worth of social media posts,
Hmm.
right? In like a couple hours. And that's like posting to multiple platforms like video content, regular content,
Yeah.
right? Like static posts, right? And have it set up to go everywhere. And then you take the next level and you're like, cool, but you can still and then still backfeed with those like live pics and the this and the that and the video of the thing. And then you know what I mean? Like I almost started talking about our business, but like that's what it is, right? Like
Yeah.
we see something we want to highlight. Well, like think we post it up. It doesn't matter. And
Yeah.
maybe we'll take one of the other things down so it doesn't we're not like bogging our thing down, right?
Hmm.
And we'll take one down and we'll schedule that out for like a different day at right? Like there's a
Yeah.
lot of things that you can do, but we keep the humanity of it all in by managing and overseeing it, and we're in control of the content that goes out, right? So if you have AI create content, then you tweak it to you and then hit go,
Yeah.
right?
And yeah, and not to mention, I mean, I think I talked about this on the podcast where we talked about the tools, but like tools that we use literally for this podcast, we use AI like a lot, like a lot.
Yeah.
And part of that, I mean, part of it is it saves a ton of time. It saves a lot of creative energy that I need because I do a lot of the posting for the podcast stuff. It saves a lot of the creative time energy I need to put into other things. But also, I feel like we also kind of do it to like prove a point when we do talk about it. Like this is a perfect example that we everything with the podcast is really besides this part right here that you see us talking and us being on here, it's AI. Every other part, the
Yeah, we
titles, the
don't
descriptions, the tags get it viewed. All of it is AI that comes up with that stuff, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just to help with algorithm stuff that maybe we don't know because the algorithm changes all the time. We're not
listen.
very in touch with it. You know what I mean?
How about this? You want your on your website, you don't need an SEO expert.
Hmm.
You have AI SEO,
Yeah.
right? ChatGPT, you could go in, there's like a million tools that you could connect, right? And for free, by the way. It's all free.
Yeah.
You don't have to pay a dime. You
Yep.
connect all these different tools in and try them, right?
Hmm.
Same thing with all the algorithmic things, all the if you need whether it's like certain hashtags are better than others, like
Yeah.
doesn't
Literally.
matter what you need to do. Like it'll tell you.
Hmm.
Like there's things for it and it'll tell you what the solution is,
Yeah.
right? So, or you just get something like Kyle's talking about, where it just does it all. You just build the thing, or have it help you build the thing, and then it just takes care of it,
Yeah.
right? It's dude, and I also want to say something else, right? Like we record this podcast, but there's no editing.
No.
Like, look, when you want to do something, you want to do a video, especially, just do it and put it out. You want to do a podcast thing, do it and put it out. Like, it doesn't need to be perfection, right? Perfection is fake. Everybody knows it, and people are getting tired of the fakeness,
Yeah.
right? Be really real, right? It doesn't, you want to do a quick video where you're like, hey guys, blah, 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 blah. I just want to say da, 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 right? I put videos like that out. I record, I don't know, anywhere from like 3 to 7, and I send them to Kyle. And
And
then
you
he
like pick
picks
the
one and
best
puts
one.
it up. And
Yeah.
he picks one and puts it up. Like, I'm like, because I don't know what kind of vibe I'm in that day when I'm talking. And I was like, use different whatever, because that's just who I am. I am a very creative person, right?
Yeah.
So I'll be like, one, I'll be like, oh, blah, 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 blah. And the next one, I'm like, oh, hey guys, da, 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 right? And I'm like, Kyle, so depending on the topic, Kyle views them and says, I think this one comes off the best to me as a consumer,
Hmm.
right? And I send Kyle like I'll record 5, I'll send him 3, and he'll pick the one that he wants to use,
Yeah.
right? It doesn't. Sometimes I record one and send it to him, and I say, put this up. He gets no option, right? Like I'm like, that was perfect. Dink, put it up. He's like,
Yeah.
really? I'm like, yep. He's like, okay, right? Like it's raw, but it's real. You don't need to
Hmm.
chop it up. It doesn't need to be a script. I literally went online and just jotted down a few notes from the solutions that, like, the things I typed into AI. That's it. That's as prepared as I get. I put, you know what I mean? The rest is in
Yeah.
my brain. But when I'm going into things that I need to dive into, like I'm getting ready to dive into some AI stuff with our CRM and some other different things. Um, so I like, but I'm diving into that thing very specifically, and I'll get it figured out. Like I already got some hours in, and I got many more hours to go. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like but that doesn't mean the implementation is going to take me weeks and weeks. The implementation will be immediate, and then once I hit a certain point, then it gets implemented, and then the rest is just after learning, right?
Mhm.
So I just don't try to do the things that I don't have set up properly or I don't
Yeah.
understand. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And a lot of these companies for all these things, I started saying earlier, they all have videos a lot because video content is so important. A lot of these, they have videos right on their website. They link and it opens right up in their YouTube and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Like they want you to understand how to use their tool. Everyone makes everything as user friendly as humanly possible. You'll hear the terms drag and drop a lot, which is awesome. Um, it's all about making life easy, right?
Yeah.
So think about that,
Hmm.
right? I know people that have their teenagers and their nieces and nephews running their social medias and stuff. I'm like, bro, why do that? Why do that? You can spend less time, do it yourself, and use AI as opposed to spending more time trying to have your niece and nephew do it because you still have to relay information to them. You
Yeah.
need them to put the stuff up. You got to make sure they're putting it up. You got to, right? Like, or you're just like, yeah, can you do social media for me? And they're like, yeah. You're like, okay, cool, because you don't really give a shit. And you're like, oh, I got someone that does social media. No, you don't.
Yeah.
You don't. You have
It's not
someone
like
with
it's a trained
zero
professional.
vested interest in your business. And
Yeah.
if it's your niece or nephew, you're lucky if they have any vested interest in you, period, depending on how old they are, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a lot of nieces and nephews. I have a couple of kids. There's different stages in life, bro. I'm just
Yeah.
saying,
Exactly.
right?
Hmm.
So, like, they definitely have no vested interest in your business. They might think it's fun and cool for a couple of weeks, but then they're like, dude, I'd rather go out and play basketball with my buddy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Or whatever. You're not paying
Hmm.
them, or you do pay them, but still, what do they know? They're in high school or whatever. Like they're not a business person.
Yeah.
They're not a marketing person with that, right? But if you set something like this up, they can very easily take care of it for you and be a professional marketing business person.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And do it very easily. But why pass everything to someone else to do it when you could do it yourself and know it's done correctly until you can pay an employee to do it,
Yeah.
right? But the thing
100%.
is, you pay an employee to do it, you pay them to do that. Normally, that's like a job.
Yeah.
Depending on how big your company is, sometimes it's multiple people,
Hmm.
right? To do it right. And now you have one person running AI for all social medias and everything else. And they're running it for this whole other thing. And they're doing this other thing,
Yeah.
right? Like they can oversee all that. One person can oversee all that, right? And then you still have people in there working on it. Depends on every business is different, right?
Yeah.
And how you're designed and how you
Hmm.
grow. But you can grow if you get to a point where you have 4 social media people and you're heavily using AI. That means without AI, that's like 15 social media people, right?
Exactly.
Like it's all about perspective.
Hmm. No,
But yeah,
100%.
everyone needs to dive in, take the time and learn. But don't try to learn AI. It's the dumbest thing ever. I saw when I was doing the searches, I saw a thing. He's like, oh, take this AI course and learn AI in 6 months. Kyle, if I said, Kyle, I'm going to have you take this course. It's a 6 month course. We're going to pay for it. I'm going to have you take it to learn all about AI. What's your knee jerk reaction to that?
Hell no. I ain't doing that shit. 6 fucking months.
But why? I would say, no, that's insane. Why would I do that? Because in 30 days, AI is going to be very different than it is today. So any course that you take for 6 months, by the time you get to the end of the course, nothing is going to be relevant.
Yeah.
It's a money grab, right?
Yeah.
So
And yeah.
you have to put in the actual work,
Yeah.
right? There's a lot of really great articles. There's a lot of really great information, right? but you have to put in the energy to do it. There is no magic course. There is no magic thing. There is no magic this or that. If you want a magic button to push, then hire a person that knows AI,
Yeah.
right? If you're like, I believe in it. Josh is right. Kyle's right. Plus, all over the internet, every high level business person that has a thing like this says AI is important. I think I should look into this a little more.
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah.
Um, but my but my point is like you're like, dude, but I don't have the time. I don't have the energy. The thing to realize is if you say I don't have the time, AI can get you time. There's ways to free up your time. As a business owner, I'm jammed up, right? How do I free up my time? I hire an employee,
Mhm.
right? Or I can hire AI to do some integrations for me and then I don't have to sweat it so much, right? Now this 3 hour thing, 2 hour thing, 5 hour week thing now became 20 minutes,
Yeah.
half hour, right? So, um, we're all small businesses don't have like copious amounts of money kicking around their bank account.
Mhm.
Because if they did, they wouldn't be small businesses very long,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah. And
So
I think that something to realize when you're talking about technology at any level or media at any level is that any book that you read, anything that you listen to about media, when it comes out, it's already irrelevant. Media is moving so quickly at such a high, rapid pace.
yeah.
Change
Oh
everything changes. Technology. By the time you're reading the book on technology, completely different. You're listening. By the time, who knows? You could be listening to this podcast a few weeks after it comes out, and everything that we talked about could be completely different.
yeah,
Like everything moves so quickly in the world of technology and media that, and this is something. I mean, I had to take a class on this in college. I know a lot about this. So if you ever want to hear about it, let me know. Send us a message because this is something I know a lot about. It at this point, everything is developing so quickly that anything that you read or see about it already becomes outdated. So the best way to learn about it is to actually do it, to get your hands on something and do it like we're telling you to do with AI. Get your hands on it and just learn. The best way that you're going to learn is just by doing it.
yeah. And to that point of outdated knowledge, here's a pro tip: when you're going on to learn stuff and look up things, especially about things that are changing all the time, even
Mm-hmm.
if they're not. By the way, I do this for everything.
Yeah.
I go to Google. I do all my browsing through Google, so
Mm-hmm.
I can't speak on like any other server, right? Any other guy, any other company. I'm not going to speak on it.
Yeah.
But on Google, if you go you search something, right? Oh, how do I do this with AI? Or I have a question. On the bottom bar, you have all like these different options. You can just click. To the right of that, there's three dots, right? Click those three dots, and then there's an option where you can select a time frame that you're searching. You can set it to like a week, a month, like stuff like that, a year, as opposed to all time, right? So if you look at data that's online, the stuff that's been on there or the stuff that's the friendliest with the algorithm is what shows on top, right? And if you do a search, it takes their history into this, into that, and this and that, and compiles all your answers. But if you're looking for a how-to video, it will most likely be a video from a year ago or more, right? Or if you're looking for like a how to do this or how to do that, it's algorithmically going to show you the most relevant answer that gives you the best solution,
Mm-hmm.
right? And algorithms of search engines are is going to bring up what people have said is the best solution. And from a year ago, cool, but technology changes faster than that. So you
Yeah.
change I change the time frame to a week, and I
Mm-hmm.
say, okay, what results are here? Not what I'm looking for. A month. Okay, cool. And but the point is, you'll be getting the most relevant information. You know what I mean? In that time frame. So like any result it gives you in that time frame is going to say, okay, it's going to give you a video result to go to YouTube and watch. It's probably been posted in the last week, right? Go to YouTube, do the same kind of searches. Any search engine you want, there's probably a way to modify it. You just have to figure it out. Ask the search engine how to do it, and it'll tell you how to do it, right? Like go to Bing and say, how do I do this? And it's like, oh, click this, this, this. It's not hard,
Yeah.
right? Especially now, every search engine is all the big guys are connected to AI.
Yeah.
And I think they all give you an AI solution when you type something in and then it gives you the results. So The only exception is Google. If you have a Google business account, it doesn't do that. Not yet, because it's not. Yeah. Anyways, um, uh, um, so yeah, it's just dive in, learn this stuff, pick a thing, pick a thing in your day that eats up a lot of your time, right? Or a thing that you want to do but you don't do that you know is gonna consume a lot of your time, and you just don't have the time to commit to it, right? Go online, find an AI solution for it or solutions, right? And search around, play around, and say, okay, this one's watch videos. How does this work? And watch somebody go through, like, how do I use this? Say I found XYZ app, then you go to search how I need a tutorial video on how to do a thing on this XYZ app or
Yeah.
xyz.com, right? And you'll get video results. And then you watch a video of someone going, okay, guys, this is for the beginners. This is how you do it. You click this, you click this, you click this, you click this. You're like, oh, okay, I think I'm comfortable trying that. And then
Yeah.
try it. They
Exactly.
all of them have free trials. And a
Hmm.
lot of them don't even require a credit card, that so you have to call and cancel. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So like if you want to continue using it, then you have to pay. That's all, right? Those are really nice for trials because then you don't have to remember to go and delete it, because I pay for trials all the time by that, right, Kyle?
Yeah.
I don't start free trials anymore unless you're free or Kyle knows about it.
Yeah.
So it's but it's awesome. So you just got to dive in and you say, I think I can do that. It's the first time you say, I that looks pretty easy. Let me try that, right? Stop your researching, download it, set it up, and try it. And then you go and say, how do I set this thing up? And it'll show you how to set it up,
Yeah.
right? On their website or on YouTube or whatever, right? Then you say, how do I do this thing? And set it up, right? And then do it and see how it works. And you're like, I like that, but I don't want to pay $50 a month for this thing,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
It's irrelevant. You're not gonna. The intention is not to pay $50 a month. The intention is to try it and see if you like it, and then say, okay, I like it, it makes sense, but I don't like this thing. And then you go find a thing that's suited for you in your price range, that works for you, and does all the things that you specifically wanted to do, right?
Yeah. For
No
sure.
matter how you spin it, even if it's $50 a month, it's a hell of a lot cheaper than paying somebody to do it
Yeah.
with the
Exactly.
knowledge that they need to do it the way
Hmm.
AI can do it. You know what I
For
mean?
sure.
And to be in full control. As a small business owner, we all have a tendency to be a little bit of a control freak, and we want our finger on everything, right? We want to be in complete control of everything. Well, if you hire a social media marketing person, you're never going to get that,
Yeah.
right? Because they're human. People aren't slaves, they're people. They're individuals, right? So, but with AI, you get complete and total control, and it won't consume a lot of your time, right? Guess what? You can still have an employee do it. When Kyle started doing all that stuff, he would do stuff, and then I would check him like, dude, that's awesome, right? Or hey, so like this, we don't want to word it like that because that seems like we're kind of asking them to like
Yeah.
it's this is when that was the first time I explained to Kyle what call to action was,
Hmm.
right? I'm like, we don't want everything to go out with a call to action. That's right? That's not the intent. The intent is knowledge and information and blah blah blah, right? We're not asking them to come and sign up and do business with us right now. Like that's not what this is, right? Um, but that's our strategy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Exactly.
Like if you always go out and ask for the sale, ask for the sale ask for the sale, people aren't going to look at your content. They're not going to watch your stuff. They're not going to be interested in you because it's all about what's in it for you. You're not what's in it for the consumer,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
I look at it
100%.
like we have to earn the right to ask for people to do
Hmm.
that on social media,
Yeah.
right? Everyone should. If there's right. Anyways, I don't want to
Yeah.
get into that right now,
Yeah. That's a
but
podcast topic for another day.
for sure. But definitely, yeah. Like we're gonna wrap this up, but definitely go out and try something. If you get stuck, hit us up. We'll help you.
Hmm.
We'll give you tips, advice. We'll even go on and find a solution that we think might be a good fit for you to try based on the things you're asking us. Like
Yeah.
a personal one-on-one recommendation, like give this a try, we think it's cool, right?
Hmm.
Not like use it, but use it, try it, and then dump it
Let
if
us
you
know.
need to,
Yeah.
right? Let us know your experience,
Hmm.
because we definitely we're all about that and passing experiences on and things like that, right? If someone wants to come on, they have experience or ideas or something they want to talk about that we've talked about and expand on it, hit us up. Right? This is not this is not just us. Like, it's not this crazy dog and pony show. Like, we're in this for everyone. And
Yeah.
if you have a lot of people have a lot of valuable information, right? Even if it's against what anything that we have said, I don't care. If you have information that's valuable, let's talk about it and let's get it out there for everybody.
100%.
Right?
Yeah, guys, just hit us up. You can hit us up on in any comment section on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube. Hit us up in any of those comment sections or on any of our social medias on TikTok, on Instagram, Facebook. I mean, anything. Just if you have anything you want to talk about, or if you feel like you want to come on, if you're a business owner and you want to come on and talk to us about something that you've experienced, that you heard, or even if you, like you said, even if you disagree with us about something, we like talking to people like that, because we know our ideas aren't the only right ones. This is just what works
Right.
for us.
And even if, and also, if you guys, anyone has a suggestion on something you'd like us to dive into or
Oh
dive
yeah.
deeper into, right? That kind of stuff. And here's the deal. When it comes to everything is so different and so subjective.
Mm-hmm.
I am not an argumentative person,
Yeah.
right? So it's not, it's a matter of having a conversation and
Mm-hmm.
talking about how it works and where it works and when it applies. And I'm open minded and I'm always willing to change my mind on things,
Yeah.
right? Everybody should be,
Mm-hmm.
um, especially in the world of business.
Yeah.
Um,
100%.
but at the end of the day, like, we're about constructive conversations that'll help people, right? And the thing that you disagree with me on for your industry may be correct. For another industry, it may not be. For your industry, it may be correct. And for me, in my industry, it may be relevant, right? And you can change my mind because I haven't come across said thing or said
Yeah.
topic. Does that make sense? Like, the key to being a successful business owner is always being open minded.
Mm-hmm.
Stop trying to be a control freak. Control the things you can, but
Yeah.
step away from your people. Don't step on them like that,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because you're going to ruin the creativity that they have that's only going to help your business.
100%.
Right? Kyle now does all of our social medias, all of our postings, all of our content, everything. He handles all of it. I don't even look at it
Mm-hmm.
because we're at a point where we're like basically the same person. We're on the same page when it comes to marketing and social media and stuff like that. And I trust him,
Yeah.
right? And I know if he puts something up, and occasionally I do. I'll like see something because I do see this stuff sometimes. You know what I mean? But like, I'll hit him up and say, "Hey, this kind of hit me as weird," and he's like, "Oh, well, it was blah blah blah." I'm like, "Oh, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Well, next time let's make that more clear by adding this extra word,
Yeah.
right?" Oh, that's
100%.
cool. That makes a ton of sense. It's just something he hasn't experienced. And I'll
Mm-hmm.
say something to him like, "I want this out," and he'll go, "Okay." And he'll put it and he'll change it. And I'm like, "Why did you change it?" He's like, "Well, because this kind of comes off like that." And I'm like, "Oh, dude, that makes sense."
Yeah.
Right? Like,
100%.
we're partners. We're open minded.
Mm-hmm.
But even if Kyle was my actual employee and I was paying by the hour to sit here and do the things he does, I would have the same conversations and the same perspective and
Mm-hmm.
take the same approach that I took with Kyle when it comes
Exactly.
to that stuff. Just like things Kyle's involved in under my umbrella, right? My division, so to speak. We talk about it like divisions. That way there's no confusion,
Yeah.
right? Like, I'm in full control of my division, he's in full control of his. But, right, we're business partners and we're involved in both sides. And he
Mm-hmm.
can come into my side and be like, "Hey, wait a second," and I could do the same to him,
Yeah.
right? But you
For
have
sure.
to carry that openness and ease of conversation down the line to your employees as well, right? Open them up, give them the freedom. You want to learn about AI, you want to learn about this stuff, you have employees, let someone loose on AI.
Mm-hmm.
People are excited about AI, right? Like, some people are not. But all actually, once they understand what it is, I don't know anyone that's not excited about AI,
Yeah.
right?
For sure.
Once they realize that
Mm-hmm.
it's not going to be a robot that's going to come and kill us,
Yeah. 100%.
you know what I mean?
It's been,
Like, that's just from the movies from the 80s and stuff. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah. 100%.
But there. Anyways, y'all have a great one. See you
Yeah.
later.
Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to follow our social medias, All Small Business Revolution, and make sure to check us out on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts / music, and iHeartRadio. There we go.
Oh, and I have radio.
And
You need
yeah,
to
I've
make
got
a
to the point. I
list,
don't even.
bro. You
I don't
need to
even have
make a
this stuff
list and
written
hang
down
it on your
anymore.
wall.
Like I say it every podcast, so it's kind of like in my brain. I always forget one of them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You should make a list, put it right on your wall.
Yeah, right.
Get some more whiteboards like me in your office, bro. That's who you need.
Well, thank you guys for watching, and we will see you guys next time. Peace out.
Have a good one.